Kankanam Shava Angari Chandanam Sularitam Kantamuktavari Rajastrio Parivistito Vijayate Gopala Chudamani He Shisham Sundar Shikara Shekara Smira Sumini Manohara Garika Rasika Mama Kipanidi Shakriya Charana Kinkarin Kuru Tavai Vasmi Najivami Tayavina Yatkin Kreshu Bausa Kaluka Kavan Nitapurusha Purusha Shakandamuli Tashigada Rasamidi Savanajas Tatkeli Kunja Bamanamara Marjin Sama Jami Radha Ravindanendra Smarami Radha Madhura Smitasha Jami Radha Karuna Rajam Namaste Bhakita Vahina Yaparada Lakshay Chikasya Kamani Karam Namaje Kripa Maitam Sharanam Prapada Vrinde Namaste Jaya Ravindram Kanaka Jaladagatro Nila Sobhagya Netro Nigamara Balo Malati Kundamaro Taruna Vesho Nilapitambarisho Smarane Pritani Kunji Radhika Krishna Chandro Kancha Kalpatrubhyascha Vipasyandu Varevacha Apitanam Papanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Dandavat Pranam devotees, hopefully this will stay on. But anyway, today is most auspicious day. Today is Shri Govardhana Puja. So I wanted to speak on three things. One was Govardhan Tattva, one was the Govardhan Leela as we know it, and then Govardhan Rahasya. Haribol? Okay. So, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Maybe I ought to put this up. No, not working still. Haribol? You think so?
Let me see his face.
Haribol, Haribol.
You good?
Yeah, it sounds like it's okay. Anyway, so there might be another microphone just in case. So anyway, Govardhan Tattva is really, really wonderful. The origin of Govardhan is part of the Nitya Golok Dham. So in Nitya Golok Dham, there's a very famous mountain which is called Saptashringha. In the Garga Samhita, it's described there that this Saptashringa was manifest in the Rasastali. In the Rasastali, Srimati Radhika requested from Krishna that you should manifest a place of confidential pastimes that we can always enjoy. And in that place, you should decorate it with so many beautiful trees that are flower bearing. You should make that there's a stream that runs in that place, and that stream will be so nectarian that it will give off the fragrance of those flowers. You should also make that in this place there will be so many kunjas and nikunjas. Kunja is one thing. Kunja means like a general place of meeting. Nikunja and Nibritta Nikunja means a place where the exclusive Sangha Anga Diya means the giving of limbs one to another can go on. Or Krishna's Kama Kriya. So he's saying make so many places that are like that. Make this place such a way that when the moon shines, that the moon's light will reflect off of the various trees and shrubs and create an amazing effulgence that is competitive with the effulgence that's produced when we gather together with all my sakis. So Krishna, he was thinking and contemplating about such a place, and he was thinking, I myself, I don't have the power to create create such a place that I feel would fully satisfy Srimati Radhika. So then Krishna himself, he began to meditate on Srimati Radhika. And as he was meditating on Srimati Radhika said, oh, there is one more request I have. Please, this place should be an emblem of how much you love me. So then Krishna, being inspired now by the Icha of Srimati Radhika, he said, Tatashtu, so be it. Then Krishna entered deeply into meditation on the beauty, qualities, sweetness, charm, lila of Radhika. And as he was meditating on that, from his heart came one stream of water and one stream of fire. And that one stream of water, one stream of fire entered into the earth. So the question is, what is the stream and what is the fire? So Prem has two divisions. One division is called Sambhog Ras and one is called Vipralamba Rasa. So these are different from Yog and Viyog. Yog and Viyog means the actual separation of Radha and Krishna or their actual physical meeting. But Sambhog Rasa and Vipralamba Rasa can take place regardless of whether they are meeting or not meeting. You understand this? Or should I say again? Understand? Like, I'm giving an example. In Ujjalavani Mani is mentioned here, Rudabhava Akyo Yam, Asambhoga Vipralambika, Nibbalananda Puranas Paramabhari Ishyate. That Rupa Goswami is writing that when Radhika has a kind of separation, especially this comes in Ruda Mahabhav, but to Radhika, because her bhav is so high, that Ruda Bhav manifests in its highest capacity. So he's saying here, Ruda Bhavakyo Yam Sambhog Vipralambika, that even when Krishna has gone to Mathura and Dwarka, so this is called Viyog. This is called Viyog, that Krishna has gone to Mathura and Dwarka. Right? That only takes place in the Prakat Lila. In Nitya Lila, there is no Mathura Dwarka Gaman. But in the Prakat Lila, this takes place. But there's something unique about this Sudur Pravas, it's called. That is that Radhika, she takes a disposition because when Krishna was on the chariot of Akrur, he mentioned Yasya iti. I will return the day after tomorrow. So 1 day is passing, 2 day passing, 3 day passing. And during the Gopi Geet, they mentioned to him directly. Bhavam anikananam tritiyugayate tvam apashyatam. That listen, even if you are gone from our vision for 1 second, it is like a yuga has passed. And one of these symptoms of Ruda Mahabhav is also Shana Kalpata, which means 1 second, is like a kalpa. So they were saying, listen, you told that you would return day after tomorrow. Now 1, 2, 3, 4 days, months have passed. So in that mood, Radhika takes shelter of her own praying, which is so high class, that Sambho Vipralambika, the Vipralamba Rasa, it means the aspect of praying that produces rasa out of the mood of separation. The suffix ka, Vishwanath Chakravarti explained, this suffix ka means to produce something. What does it produce? Sambhog. So now this kind of meeting that is produced by Sambhog is Nirbharananda Purana. It is a complete and absolute kind of association with Krishna that has no fear of his separation. When Krishna is present in Vrindavan Dham itself, when Radhika and Krishna are associating, there is always an anxiety that he may have to go. Oh, Hare Krishna. This is my first darshan. I'm very happy. Very happy. Haribol.
What's her name?
Name? I didn't hear. Kunjali. Oh, very nice. Very nice. So here he's saying, Nirbharananda Purana, that the association that happens in the extreme mood of this kind of separation, it is Nirbharananda. It has no fetters. It has no fear or anxiety. When Krishna is actually present with the gopis and Radhika in Vrindavan, there's always the fear of the separation that may be pending. You understand? Because of that, the possibility of what is called praying by chicha can take place. You understand? Praying by chicha will not happen in Sudura Pravas because that time they've resigned. Krishna has gone. You understand? We don't know if he's coming back. What is his obligation to return to Braj? What obligation is there? There is no lawfully wedded duty to return. We are not family. We are not, there's no technical, legal, lawful, dharmic reason why Krishna has to return. The gopis' love for Krishna, Krishna's love for the gopis, the only law that controls it is praying itself. So there is no obligation for him to return. So they resign. Krishna may never return. But Radhika's praying says, no, but still he cannot escape my praying. So taking shelter deeply of this Vipralamba Ras, it produces Sambhog. And this Sambhog is superior. Gurudev used to tell us, no? He would tell that, therefore Krishna had to leave Vrindavan. Do you remember this? He would tell. He had to leave. Because his presence is not as great as the praying of Radhika. So Krishna Roop is not as powerful as Radhika's Swarup, means Radhika's praying. Understand this? Therefore Krishna is obliged now to appear there. So when they describe the praying of Radhika, what is the verse that describes Madanakya Mahabhav? You should try to learn this verse, it's very important. Yog Esha Bhaved Esha Vachiti Kopi Madanaha. Radhika's Madan praying is Yog Esha. Certainly it is always Yog. They are never separated. Understand? Yog Esha Bhaved Esha Vachiti Kopi Madanaha. Vraja Vilasavi Rajante. And it only illumines in Braj, which means this is the reason why the statement is there. Krishna never takes one step because of the praying of Radhika. But Nitya Leela Sahasrada, there are unlimited prakosha, unlimited leelas, which are manifest from the praying vilas of Radhika. And Krishna and Radhika may enter any of those prakosh, and therefore the idea of separation is there. So in the Prakat Leela, when there's actually Mathura and Dwarka Gaman, and Radhika takes deep shelter of this mood, it produces unfettered meeting. You understand? So I'm explaining this to explain that Vipralamba Rasa and Sambhog Rasa are different from Yoga and Viyog, those words. The word Yoga and Viyog literally refer to either they're together physically, for lack of a better word, or separated. Understand? But the Rasa is not dependent on that. Understand? So, now Krishna is meditating deeply in Nitya Golok Dham, how to make a place in which Radhika will be so happy and so satisfied. So that stream of water and that stream of fire produce what I just spoke, Vipralamba Rasa and Sambhog Rasa. That sprout into the fertile ground of the Nitya Dham, and a sprout of that came up. Radhika was very pleased because even the fragrance of that sprout was so wonderful, it permeated the entire Rasa Mandu. You understand? So now Radhika was thinking, oh, this is such a beautiful presentation. If you want to show somebody love, sometimes you call 1-800-send flowers. Understand? So he's saying, I planted this, just the sprout. The sprout alone of this thing has produced such a wonderful fragrance. You understand? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So then it began to grow a little more. And as it grew more, it took the shape of a small rock or stone. So Radhika was very amazed. Oh, what a charming thing. It's actually taken a shape so solid. It means maybe your love for me is so strong. And then it began to grow. And then it began to grow a little more. And Radhika, all Gopigan, was seeing it and they were very charmed. Oh, just see. This is some magical presentation of Krishna to charm us. Like anytime you will send a gift to somebody, any guy, if your game is strong, you send some flowers. But imagine if you send the flowers and the flowers turn into something else and start growing, you'll get a phone call instantly. Understand? Yeah, you're good to go. Understand? So they were thinking like this. But then that stone began to grow. And then more began to grow. And it began growing more. And then concern came. So it changed from smiling happiness to concern. The stone came into a hill. The hill turned into a small mountain. Then the mountain began to grow and grow and grow, and suddenly peaks of that mountain started to manifest. And on each of the peaks was capped with gold. Jai Shri Shri Radha Govinda Ji ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Ji ki Jai, Shri Gurudeva ki Jai. Each of those mountain tops were capped with gold, and the mountain continued to grow. So now, Radhika was thinking, one of the features of praying is called Prajana Mukita. How many features of Madhurya Rasa are there? I think we've spoken before. I'm telling you, how many features? Is it socially okay? Bahuva yate kalo yatra. It is socially forbidden. One thing. Therefore, cha prachanaka mukata. It has to be kept. Prachana means to hide something. Prachana means it has to deeply be kept hidden. It cannot be revealed. Yo mita durlabata. It becomes very difficult. Yes, it's true. Yeah, it becomes very difficult for the divine couple to meet because of these circumstances. But manmata sa paramurati. Ujjali Mani is saying, but this is the greatest kind of praying. Why? Because it's a praying that climbs over obstacles. You understand? Praying which has no obstacles to conquer can become ordinary, like a marriage. Not mine. I'm just saying. My wife is watching the stream. But it can become ordinary. But that kind of love that has to conquer so many obstacles always becomes wonderful. You understand? So now the mountain was growing, great anxiety arose. So Radhika told her, you should do something now. Krishna told, listen, this was your idea. You wanted me to manifest a special place for us to have pastimes. You wanted me to manifest a place that was filled with so much beauty, so much charm. Look at the top of this mountain. It is directly a reflection of your own love. What is the color of Radhika's love? Anurag is the basis of all gopis' love. What is Radhika's love? Huh? Radhika's, what is the Varna Vastu of Radhika's praying? Gaurangi. Golden. You understand? The Varna Vastu of Madanaki Mahabhav is gold. This is why Mahabhavu, duty and bhav, he took the bhav, the duty, the color of that love is gold. That's why his body is gold. You understand? So he said, look, just see. This mountain, it is only displaying your love. There's 108 peaks here. 100 peaks. 8 are hidden. These 100 peaks are only glorifying your love. How is it possible that the glorification of your love can be checked? You understand? But then Radhika began to panic. She said, you have to do something. Because if not, then this will expand and everybody will come to know. So then Krishna, he rolls up and he gave a gentle slap to Giriraj, who's in that realm is called Shakta Shringa. Shakta means 100, Shringa means mountain caps. So he gave a gentle slap. Just as Mahaprabhu, when he was talking to Ramananda Roy, and Ramananda Roy had gone through the whole crumb of all the different sajjas. And he came to the point, he said, even after I spoke on what is Radha Tattva, what I spoke on what is Prem Tattva, I want to speak on one last thing. And he spoke on what is called Prem Vilas Vivarat. Prem Vilas Vivarat means when the Vilas of Prem makes the role of the lover and the beloved invert. You understand? Where the person who's the object of love. Shri Krishna is called the Vishaya of Prem. Radhika is called the Asraya of Prem. Prem Vilas Vivarat means when the intensity of the love becomes so powerful it reverses these roles. What is the manifestation of that? Who said that? Shri Sachinandan Gaurahari. He's the reversal of the roles. From Asraya to Vishaya. You understand? It's written in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Shri Radha Pranaya Vikriti Ladini Shakti Asmad. The Ladini Vritti in praying. It's the essential part of praying. When that undergoes, Vikriti means transformation, it goes to a transformative point where it actually produces an inversion of the Asraya and Vishaya of praying. This is Sachinandan Gaurahari. But when Ramananda Roy began to speak about it, Mahaprabhu covered his mouth. You understand? Because just like now, this height of prema is so high. Mahaprabhu thought if anybody will come in contact with this, they will immediately lose consciousness. You understand? So what need to speak beyond the point you've spoken? But Ramananda Roy, he still wrote it. Where did he write? In Jagannath Vallabhanataka. Pahili Nayanam Hongavela, Aduninam Avadibadhala Nagela, Nasa Ramana Naham Ramani, Manobhava Dui Manobhava Peshali Jani. He began writing one poem there. In that poem he says, from the first day that our eyes met, we fell in love. And Anudinam, every day successively after that, just like that mountain, Saptashringa was growing. Every single day after that, Anudilam, but Halinagela, it started to grow unlimitedly. So Ramananda Roy is now describing how this praying grows. And then he says, it came to a point, Naso Ramana, you're not my beloved. Naham Ramani, I am not the subject of the love. Manobhav, the bhav itself, Manobhav, Dui Manobhav, Peshali Jani, the love itself pushed us together. You understand? So he's glorifying what is love. That very same mountain, Saptasringa, which in Nitya Golok Dham, was Krishna's response to Radhika's request to show what is praying. That very Saptasringa descended to this world as Shri Giriraj Govardhan. Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki jai. Understand? So when Krishna wanted to perform his Prakat Lila, he told to Radhika, you should prepare. All my associates should prepare to come to this Boma Vrindavan. This Boma Vrindavan is not different from my Nitya Dham. But the speciality here is that it reveals many secret pastimes. The speciality here is that it gives the Buddha Jivas in this world, if they'll hear these pastimes, it gives them the opportunity also to develop bhakti for me. So my compassion is being shown like this. So Radhika said, certainly we will all go, but I will not go without my Jamuna. I will not go without all of my Sakhis. I will not go without this land of Vrindavan, including Braj Duli, the dust of this Vrindavan. And I certainly will not go without the greatest gift you've shown me, this Giriraj Govardhan. Understand? So that Govardhan descended to this world as the son of Dronachal. Dronachal is very fortunate because Dronachal also became the shelter of Srimati Radhika later on, but we're talking Giriraj Katha now. So Giriraj took shelter as the son of Dronachal. Dronachal was overwhelmed. Why? Because Dronachal, Himachal, and Vindhyachal, they're considered to be like the GBC of the mountains. So all the mountain ranges, they look up to these three mountains as being very special and very powerful. Formerly, all the mountains were so powerful in the world that they had their own means of flight. You understand? They could fly themselves. So the mountains didn't have to stay in one place. So the mountains would go to different places, land in that place, beautify that place, land, take off, go to another place, land and beautify that place. But there was only one problem, that the mountain's landing gear was a little faulty. So whenever it would land, it would always close like an earthquake almost. So the rishis and sadhus, they said, listen, we need some small remedy for this. So that job was given to the Indra Commission. The Indra Commission took up the job to deal with the mountains and their flight problems, their flight issues. So his solution was, why do mountains need to fly? Another name for mountain in Sanskrit is Achala, means non-movable. So why are the mountains flying all over the place anyway? So he took it upon himself to tell, you should surrender your wings. You don't need wings. Get in one place, stay in that place, beautify that place, boss, it's enough. So the mountains, they said, we have freedom. We're under a different king. Who was that king? Jayati Govardhanasala Kuladira Rajo. Who was our king? His name is Giriraj Govardhan. We don't have to operate under the kings in this world. So Indra, he took some offense because there's some pride when you have a high class of service. All of the high class of demigods, they are called, what is this term? Adi Krita Bhaktas. Adi Krita means they're given a certain power to do a service. Varuna, Surya, Chandra, Indra, Brahmaji. They're all given a special power to serve Krishna in some universal administration. They're called Adi Krita Dasya Bhaktas. You can see in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. But sometimes in the course of doing those services, some abhiman arises. My name is Indra. You understand? My name is Brahma. Google me.
I am Brahma.
I am Brahma. Understand? So, Indra that time took a little bit of offense, and he took his thunderbolt, the Bhadra, and he cut physically all the wings of all the different mountains, so they could not fly anymore. So the mountains at that time, they all got together, and they were always in Stav and Stuti praying for the descent of their own king, Shri Giriraj. So Giriraj finally, by the grace of Krishna Lila Shakti, descended as the son of Dronachal. All the mountains became very happy. Even it could be seen that the mountains now, whereas before their heads were always bowed in prayer. So therefore everybody was thinking, oh, the mountains, what's happening? All the mountains, they're shrinking or something? Immediately upon the descent of Giriraj, all the mountains stood up in their original forms. And everybody thought, oh, this is something very amazing. Some kind of special thing is happening. But they couldn't understand. This is Giriraj descent. You understand? One day, one great rishi, he was observing, since the mountains cannot fly anymore, many places have become very flat land. And therefore the beauty is not enhanced. Even recently we went traveling for preaching, and I went up to upstate New York and all these places, and as we started to travel through, and similarly when I went out west for preaching, I think back in October last year, we drove through Denver and you go through the mountains. So there's certainly a certain aesthetic about the mountains that's really beautiful and charming and inspiring. Like you see some places, like you go through Utah. We went through Utah. Very beautiful, some of these places. In Sedona, you look at the mountains and that color and everything. So Pulatsari, she was thinking, so many places have become absent of this kind of beauty because mountains are not moving. When he came across Dronachal, he saw the beauty of the son of Dronachal named Giriraj. And he thought, this mountain is so beautiful. I reside in Kasi. This is my place of worship. This is my place of residence. Why will I not have such beauty in that place? Not only that, but by taking this mountain to Kasi, it will also help all the other Kasivasis who are trying to do bhajan there. Who are doing bhajan there. They'll be so pleased at seeing all of the beauty of this hill. So Pulatsarishi came, and it is always an etiquette that anytime any sadhu should come to your house, you must welcome that sadhu, try to please that sadhu in all ways, and try always to give anything that the sadhu asks. This is, of course, we know very famously in Ramayana, that Dasarat Maharaj was asked by Vishwamitra Muni to give Ram. I was doing Ram Katha one time. There's a whole section on that story. It's very beautiful. I don't want to go too much into detail, tell something small. That actually when Vishwamitra Muni asked, Dasarat gave a whole list of reasons why Ram could not go. His age. He had never fought before. Then he said, not only has he never fought, but Rakshasas primarily come out at night. And my son's bedtime is 6 o'clock. So he's never up past the sun, past sunset. He was giving like so many different reasons. And then finally, Vishwamitra Muni was, you know Vishwamitra Muni. So Vaishishta told to Dasarat, listen, you can't do this. You have to submit. Always one's best fortune is in serving the sadhus. Even if it makes a request that seems impossible, by honoring that request, you'll be so blessed. So then Dasarat called for Ram. And when Ram came, the beauty of Lord Ram was so enchanting that when he walked in the room, everyone became stunned in silence. When I walked in, everybody just kept talking, everything else. Right? But now he's walking in, everybody's looking. Very handsome. Ram's beauty was so enchanting that everybody simply froze. They became stunned in looking at the beauty of Lord Ram. And not only the beauty of Ram, but because he was walking, they looked at Ram's gait, how he walked. And so Dasarat was telling, come, come. And Ramchandra was walking. And everybody was there. But as Dasarat saw Ram come closer and closer, his heart became overwhelmed and he changed his mind. He said, no, son, go, go. So when he turned around to walk away, everybody was still enchanted because they saw from the front, now they're seeing from back. And then when he left, then he said, no, again, come. Because he was conflicted. So as he was going and coming, everybody was just immersed. So like a tennis match, looking at the beauty. You understand? So like this, where was I? I don't want to get, that's why I don't want to speak this guitar. We were talking, Pulatsarishi, yeah, he was there and Dronachal was obliged to serve him in a proper way. So after everything was said and done, he took meals, he took rest. He told to Dronachal, listen, I'm making one request from you. You please give me your son to take with me to Kasidam. At that time, Dronachal, just like Dasarat, he was completely flabbergasted, completely floored. How can I give up this son? This Rishi must not know. This child is not only a mountain, this child is our king. How can one surrender the king? So Pulatsa Rishi asked, oh, need I ask again? Should I mention again? So he made another request. Perhaps he didn't hear me. Oh, listen, mountain. Also, there's echoes here. So what I speak should be echoed, that everyone can hear. I'm asking that you should give me your son to take to Kasi. Do you believe Kasi is a holy place or not? Do you believe I'm genuine sadhu or not? How can you think there'll be any harm to your son? How can you think there'll be any harm to you? But certainly if you don't fulfill my wishes, so much infamy will come to you. Who will want to come to Dronachal? Maybe this is the reason why many people go climbing on the, what's that? Himalayan mountain? Of course, that may be the blessing that nobody's trying to climb Dronachal. Anyway, so at that time, he relented and he said, so be it. So then Giriraj spoke up, said, because my father, he has agreed. I'm also agreeing, but under one condition. Wherever you will place me down, once I rise on your hand, right? I will never move again from that place. So, Pulatsarishi, also something is there. I'm Maha powerful sadhu. Simply by my wish, I'm telling you to come into my hand. And by coming into my hand, I can carry you all the way from this mountain range all the way to Kasi. What kind of power do I have? There's a very deep secret here that's going to come out later in the Leela. Did Pulatsarishi's Shakti cause Govardhan to come into his hand? No. Later on in this Leela, there's going to be a special thing. Apluto yam giri pakshai. What does it mean? The word apluto means to like jump. And ayam giriraj. When Krishna to lift Giriraj, he jumped into his hand. But the Siddhas, Vijayanagas, this is in Harivamsa, they saw something that they had not seen. What does the word pakshara mean in Sanskrit? Wings. Like a bird is called pakshi. Pakshara means wings. So they saw that even though all the other mountains' wings had been cut, Giriraj had wings. So it's mentioned in Harivamsa that the Vijayanagas, they yelled out when they saw that, just see, just see. Because they knew that all the mountains' wings had been cut. But a Plutanyam Giriraja Pakshara, Giriraj leapt into the hand of Pulatsa, but Pulatsa couldn't see it because he thought it was my mystic power that was doing it. So he began to travel, and as he traveled, he came across the divine land of Sri Boma Vrindavan. As he was passing over Boma Vrindavan, though a rishi can control his breath, a rishi can control all of his senses, he suddenly had an urge to answer the call of nature which he could not control. So at that time, whose Shakti was present there? Who could make a rishi who could control his senses in every way? Eating, sleeping, so many things. Why he could not control his urge to use the restroom at that time? Purnamasi Yog Maya Devi Ki Jai. Realizing the desire of Srimati Radhika and Krishna that their Govardhan should come, immediately she applied her Shakti. Is the Shakti of Pulatsa Rishi any match for the Shakti of Purnamasi Devi? Purnamasi Devi under the land of Vrindavan, who's the divine Shakti there? Purnamasi, Brinda Devi for conjugal rasa. And they're all coming from Mool Shakti Tattva Srimati Radhika. So Radhika's Icha is the essential Shakti there. So immediately, he put Giriraj Govardhan thinking it shall be no problem. He went and answered the call of nature. He came back. He put his hand out again. And through his mystic power, he requested that Giriraj Govardhan should again come in his hand. Giriraj did not move. So he thought again. Then he put his hand out again. Chanted his mantra. No result. He told, listen. You do not want my punishment. Immediately you should come into my hand. Giriraj said, listen, the contract that you signed when we were Dronachala, did you read the fine print? You did not. I told, wherever you will place me down, in that place I will not move anymore. Perhaps you didn't believe it. Perhaps your reading skills are not up to par. Whatever the reason may be, I will not move from this place. Then, amazingly, actually Giriraj is saying, not only I will not move, I cannot move from this place. Because what power holds me in this Brahma Vrindavan? The power of Srimati Radharani. You understand? So Pulatsa Rishi, he realized, then he said, listen, I'm giving you one sap, means curse. Because you have disobeyed me. Mountains are very proud of their height. You understand? They're always very proud of their height. That's why they're always trying to outgrow each other. He said, I'm cursing you that you'll shrink by one mustard seed every single day. Giriraj happily accepted that curse. Why? Because in Krishna's Lokik Siddhandhu Bhat Leela, the size of Giriraj would be just appropriate to make that Leela very sweet. Could Giriraj avoid the curse of Pulatsa Rishi? Who was Pulatsa Rishi compared to Giriraj Govardhan? Giriraj Govardhan is also described in Puranas. Prakriti Manasa Jatu Giriraja Govardhanaha. This Giriraj is actually the heart of Srimati Radhika. As I explained from Garga Samhita, that it was manifest from Radhika Icha only. And the Puranas therefore saying, Prakriti Manasa Jatu Giriraj Govardhanaha. This Giriraj has come from the mind of Prakriti. Divya Prakriti means Srimati Radhika. Radhika told Krishna the same thing in Kurukshetra. Anyara Ridoya Mora Mana Vrindavan Moni Vani Eko Kari Jani. This whole of Vrindavan is my heart. This Giriraj Govardhan is also the heart of Radhika. Understand? So he had no power to move. So now, Giriraj Govardhan is there, and all Brijabasis are also there. Giriraj was there, and then of course Brijabasis came there because it would be some Aishwarya Maya Leela. Suddenly, all Brijabasis were doing everything, and they saw this sudden mountain and a rishi flying. So Giriraj had already been established. So now all Brijabasis, their existence was all based around Giriraj Govardhan. Giriraj Govardhan would supply all kinds of water, grass, all kinds of caves, all kinds of minerals. Even things could be grown on Giriraj Govardhan, not so much now. That time, all kinds of things could be grown. So many shade trees were on Giriraj Govardhan. So Giriraj Govardhan was the center of Brijabasi life. Even they would roam the 12 forests in Vrindavan. But Giriraj was always very, very special. You understand? Of course, it's a Mahayog Peeth of the Ras also. Only Nityasura gopis will go there for dancing Ras. But anyway, now Brijabasi's life was there. Sometime just prior to this day, Krishna had, along with his friends, been wandering, and his friends had become very hungry. Nearby, some Brahmins who had been engaged by Kamsa, they were doing a great sacrifice. And because of the sacrifice, they had accumulated so many things for offering for this sacrifice. So Krishna, because he knew it, and because the cowherd boys were very hungry, he told, listen, you should go to those Yagnik Brahmins and explain that you're hungry, and these Brahmins certainly will give you some food. there's a very interesting point here, that Krishna did not go himself. Why Krishna did not go himself with those cowherd boys? How will you get the darshan of Krishna? Who will you have to serve to get the darshan of Krishna? Bhaktas. You understand? Therefore, he did not go. He sent them. You serve the devotees, you can get the darshan of Krishna. You understand? Therefore, Krishna did not go. But he sent his order. And his order is to only serve and always serve Vaishnavas. What to speak of is Nitya Parikars. So they went, but the Brahmins, they were absorbed in the externals of their ritual. And they also had kusanga. Kusanga means bad association from whom? They were doing the yajna under whose authority? Kamsa. So they told the boys, no, we can't give anything here. All these things are for the sacrifice, under the order of Kamsa. So the boys went back and they told him, listen, and this is another lesson here. If you offend, not please, or do anything to Vaishnavas, Krishna is always residing in the heart of the Vaishnava. They need not go back and tell, but Krishna immediately will understand, they've offended my devotee. They've offended my associate. You understand? So immediately when the cowherd boys went back and they told, oh, listen, they would not give us any food. Krishna said, no harm. You go to their wives and you ask the wives for food. Who's preparing all of the food that they're taking to the yajna? The wives. Said you go and you ask the wives. Immediately when they went and they asked the wives said, oh, Krishna's there. Krishna wants food. And they went, well, yes. Immediately they took all preparations that were being used for this yajna and they took all and they immediately went to Krishna to give Krishna everything. Question is, if the husbands had kusanga of Kamsa and these wives were obedient to their husbands, how is it possible that these wives went to take this food to Krishna? Huh?
They were obedient. They had some love.
They had purva rag. You understand? How did they have purva? What is purva rag? Ratiya sangamat purva darshine shravanani ja tayo milita apragya purva rag uchite. Purva rag means prior to seeing someone. And here seeing has different meanings. Right? Because it says purva darshana. Darshan can mean physically seeing, but here purva darshan means having anga sanga. Because darshan is really complete when their anga sanga means association physically. Like touching. Because in Madhurya Rasa, anga sanga is the real darshan. You understand this? Right? Because the gopis, they had seen Krishna when he was a small boy in their village. But was only doing a Kaliya Damana Lila during their purva rag that the darshan related to anga sanga took place. The desire to associate with the limbs of Krishna in a conjugal way. Hearing about the beauty of Krishna, hearing about the charm of Krishna, hearing about the sweetness of his gun, his name, everything, they also had purva rag. So immediately upon hearing Krishna request food, right, they immediately ran there in order to serve him. Their purva rag exceeded their so-called obedience to husbands or anything else. If you read them, this is not Al-Kata now, but there you read that Krishna told them, oh, you should go back to your husbands. They said, no, we've already given that up. We gave up husbands, home, children, all of that. We're here for you now. Boo, this is us. We're not going home. But I don't know why I always get caught up in this. Anyway, but then Krishna said, no. If you really want to please me, you should be obedient and go back home. Why? Why would Krishna now tell them? They gave up everything. Right? They gave up everything to come to Krishna. And Krishna promised them, listen, when you go back, your husbands will not be angry. He arranged the husbands not be angry or anything. In fact, the husbands converted when they went back. But why did Krishna send them back?
They weren't ready.
They were not completely right, yes. So their praying could become more intense. Because now having the darshan, getting the surabhagandha, the smell of Krishna's body, getting the direct seva of giving food, everything, the intensity of their praying to always and forever be with Krishna came about. But now by sending back, that praying will grow. You understand? After Krishna had left that arena, and he was coming back into Braj, he saw that Nanda Maharaj and all the cowherd men, they were making a big preparation for some kind of festival. For the prior 6 years of his life, Krishna saw this festival take place. But he never thought to inquire about it. He never thought to think anything about it. But now, Krishna is 7 years old, and he thought, I want to know, what is this festival? But also, when I get to Rahasya, I'll tell something special. But anyway, in the general Katha, he's saying, I want to know. So he went along with Balaram, and he went to his father, and he said, listen, Father, what is this festival that you're putting on? And then he made the inquiry. Is this festival something that is a tradition, or is it something from Sastra? Because I see that regularly you've performed it. Nanda Baba was thinking there's so many things to do, so many preparations to be made. He was trying to give instructions to all the other elder Brijalasi men. He's saying, listen, right now I don't have time to explain fully. So my son, you should go and you should play with your Daubai, please. But then Krishna said, listen, Father, will I not one day become the inheritor of everything that you're doing? So then all the cowmen looked at each other and said, ain't that right? And Nanda Baba said, yes, but we have some time. And then Krishna told him, listen, Father, time is of the essence. Can anybody guarantee how time will work in their life? Nobody can guarantee. Oh, Father, whatever is auspicious should be done immediately. Is it auspicious for us not? Is it not auspicious for us to understand the very things which are important to you? So then Nanda Maharaj said, okay, listen, this is a tradition in our line. For many years, my ancestors did it, their ancestors did this. So then Krishna said, oh, why do you do it? So he said, listen. So now he said, more explanations. Listen, I don't have time to fully explain everything. But then the elderly cowherd men said, listen, Nanda Baba, listen. Nanda, bye. Listen, your son is making such relevant inquiries. It is very nice to have a son who, even at a tender age, has so much interest in what is Dharma and what should be done in our tradition. How will our traditions go on? How will our traditions go on if we're unable to train the next generations? So he said, certainly. And then Krishna also spoke. He said, Father, no secret should be kept between loved ones. Of course, that's not true in the material world, but in the spiritual world, no secret should be kept between loved ones. So Father, be kind and fully reveal. So then he said, listen, we worship Indra every year. Who is this Indra? Oh, Indra provides rains. And from the rains, our grass grows. And from the grass, our cows are fed. And when our cows are fed nicely, they produce milk nicely. From that milk comes butter, yogurt, so many sweets, ghee for cooking. So our entire lives depend on the rain from Indra. Not only that, it is mentioned that one should honor the Devatas. So Krishna then began to speak parts of 6 different Vedic darshans. Karma Mimamsa, Vaishashik, Nyaya Darshan, Vedanta, Sankhya. He spoke 6 different darshans, but not all at one time. He took pieces. So he first started with Purva Mimamsa or Karma Mimamsa. He told him, listen, Father, isn't it true that whatever we do, we're rewarded for those activities, good or bad? Yes, that's true, son. If that is the case, and you're always worshiping your Shalagram Shila, you're always very respectful to the Brahmins, like Bhagavad Rishi and others. You tend to the cows, which is your Dharma as a Vaishya. You also always take care of all the sacred plants, trees, rivers, everything. Is that not good karma, Father? He said, yes. Then, Father, if you have good karma, what worry is there that somebody will not provide what it is you need? Things that make you go, And then I said, yes, still, but this is also part of our karmic duty. He said, Father, what kind of karma is this? There are different kinds of karma. What kind of karma is this activity? So then he said, but listen, also, by logic, by reason, when it rains, I notice it also rains in the Jamuna. The Jamuna doesn't need water sometimes, but rather when it rains, the Jamuna overfloods and makes a problem. So even if you're worshiping this person Indra to provide rain, he is so incompetent, he doesn't know where to put the water. Understand? So can you really trust him in terms of someone you want to depend on? And then he told, listen, also not only that, but even if Indra is going to rain both on the land and in the Jamuna and everywhere else, it means that maybe he already had this idea, this is his plan, this is his duty, so it is not dependent on whether we worship him or not. He's duty bound to do these things. And he brought up the fact that if the rain is dependent on our worship, why isn't the worship every day? Do we not need rain? So why wouldn't we do every day? Every day you worship your shalagram and do your nitya kriyas in terms of your spiritual life. Why we don't worship Indra every day? So now Nanda Baba and all the current men are saying, this boy, he is so intelligent. So he's saying, so now that I've explained everything to you and you've given so many arguments, what is your suggestion? What do you want us to do? He said, Father, I have a wonderful idea. Why not take all the things you've already prepared and let us worship Govardhan? So Nanda Baba said, listen, you spoke very well. I'm very happy that you're such an intelligent and erudite scholar, even at such a young age, only 7 years old. But son, we cannot violate our traditions. He said, Father, but we've just gone through so many conversations and we discussed what is the value of a tradition if that tradition has so many faults. So he was thinking, And then Krishna told also from Vedanta, according to Vedanta, everything should be verified by Sastra. So he's saying, is this ceremony in Sastra? You understand? Is this worship in Sastra? That you must do this worship of Indra. So now he said, well, it's our tradition, not necessarily Sastra, but, he said, Father, have you ever gone to Govardhan and taken your cows there for grazing? Yes? Father, on any hot day, have you ever gone into a cave of Govardhan and honored the wonderful prasada made by Mother Yashoda? Yes? Father, have you ever in your time gone into Govardhan and took the minerals from Govardhan and put on your head? Yes? Yes, 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 yes? Father, Govardhan is telling you, should we worship Govardhan? The answer is? Yes! So now, they said, but how will we do? What we'll do, we'll make a separate program just to worship Govardhan. He said, no need. Everything is already prepared. We can just simply take everything now and worship Govardhan. We should take all of the preparations, put them here. Then we should get all of the cows and put them in front of us. Cows behind us on the side. We should circumambulate and do parikrama of Govardhan and offer everything to Govardhan. So then they called the Brahmins. The Brahmins did the appropriate offerings. All the Brijabasis were there. They offered everything to Govardhan. And suddenly Krishna said, look, look, Father, look. And on top of Govardhan, they saw a huge form. What form did they see on top of Govardhan? Hanuman. Where are we? Come back to Vrindavan. Come back to Vrindavan. Escape Ayodhya. Come back. What form did they see on top of Govardhan? In the commentaries of the Acharyas, it says that Krishna manifested a form there. It was not the direct form of Krishna, because then Brijabasis would have thought, what kind of thing is this? He manifested a mountain form on top of the Govardhan form that was the form of a mountain that had senses. The Acharyas say the form of the mountain had senses and was able to take the offerings. It was still attached to the mountain, exactly. So he said, listen, look at this amazing thing. Another mountain which has its own form, which is the form of this hill, has its own senses, and it's eating everything. And then it drank from Manasi, Ganga, all the Sigale, everything, and then it said, Andre, more, bring more. In Vedic culture, if you go to anyone's house and you honor prasad, and you take more and more, whoever's serving it, they feel very happy. If you only go and you take very little bits and, oh, that's good, I'm good. Understand? It's like I remember when I was preaching in Africa, I told this story. Whenever we would go to any place for preaching, normally, especially if you go to any of the houses, and there are various Indian communities there. So like if you go to the Sindhi community, there's one set of preparation, Bengali community, South Indian community. So it's always different. So we once went to a program in the northern part of Nigeria. And this lady and her sister, and there were some other family members in it. Anyway, they made a spread that was just unbelievable. So they had like each family made a whole feast themselves. Like each family made a sabji, rice, so everything was like doubled. Understand? And then they had a dessert table that looked like a sweet shop.
Nice.
It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And everything was so amazing. So you know Brahmananda Prabhu, formerly Brahmananda Swami. So he would sit and he would eat, and he called all of us in before we went in and said, listen, so in order to show that you have some sadhu nature, sadhutva, then what you do is whenever they come to offer you more, you should cover your plate and say, no, good. But then when you cover your plate, go like this. No, I don't need that. So in this way, when you move your hand, they're going to put stuff on your plate. You understand? So we were doing that, and this went on and on. And I remember it all fell apart when we went to the sweet table because they brought out glove jamuns that the lady, she was late. So she didn't have a chance to put the glove jamuns down to cool, so the glove jamuns were still like hot. So we went to that bowl and we put glove jamuns in, and the glove jamuns were like, if they were hot glove jamuns, it was indescribable. So everybody's salute went out the window. So there were people over there like just, because we're at a table. Nobody went back and sat down, they were just dipping out the glove jamuns and biting and everything. So anyway, okay, I got lost again. Where am I? More, give more. So then Krishna told, listen, they've given you everything. So be satisfied with that. So then that mountain told, Triptosmi, I'm completely satisfied. But who was that mountain?
Krishna.
That mountain was Krishna, not Krishna Ru, but Krishna in order to show all the Brijabasis. Listen, every year that you worship Indra, has he ever given you darshan? Has he ever come and eaten your food in front of you? Somebody invites you to their house to eat and you say, listen, I'll take it in the bedroom. Right, I'll take it in another room. I don't want you watching me eat.
Take it to go.
I'll take it to go. Yeah. You have a carry out? Of course, there are some famous places that have. Okay. So now, they said, listen, but this mountain, Giriraj, personally came and personally ate in front of you and requested more and more and more. How glorious is our relationship with Giriraj? Shri Giriraj Govardhana Ki Jai. But of course, Indra, because it's mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, Janmajyasya yataha yari tarachasarti shavigasarat tine brahma ritari kavaye muyanti yat suryo. So muyanti yat suryo means even great sages, even demigods like Brahma Shiva, because of the extreme charm of Krishna's Leela, they become bewildered. Don't their devotees? They become bewildered by the chamatkar, the astonishment of the beauty of Krishna's Leela. So just like Brahma had become bewildered when he saw the killing of Aghasur, he heard about it. And then he went and he saw, no, this small boy, he killed this serpent Aghasur. I can't believe it. This led to Brahma Viman Leela. So similarly, Indra, he began thinking. He checked his calendar and he said, isn't it about time for the Brijabasis to do my annual puja? Yeah, what's going on? So he checked his email. There was no email, no messages, nothing. He said, what's going on? So then he sent messengers to check what is going on with the Brijabasis. And when the messengers came down, they saw that the Brijabasis were in full party mode. So it was a full festival, full party mode. At that time, they were wondering what's happening. So they went back and they told, listen, down there they're having a huge festival. But I didn't see any effigy of you. I didn't see any mantras for you. I didn't see anything. But I noticed that they were all circling around Krishna and glorifying Krishna and glorifying the hill Govardhan. So Indra thought, some pride came in the heart and he thought, listen, this little boy has gone beyond his jurisdiction. He's now interfering even with the worship that's due to the Devas. Because I'm Devraj, Indra, it is my duty to straighten this out. So he made so many, I'm not going through because I want to get to the other part of the kata. He said, listen, this talkative young boy who doesn't know right from wrong, etc. He made so many disparaging statements. But then the question is, just like with Shishupal, Divya Saraswati Devi, she transformed all of the statements of Indra into praise. You understand? Because if not, he would have been implicated in aparad. So in the course of the Leela, Divya Saraswati arranged that all of the statements he would make, they then were manifest as glorifications. So now, so Indra,
They used a microphone.
it still has battery.
That's good. That's good.
He says the battery might get replaced.
It says 3. Is that 3 or that's just volume?
Oh, what's an option?
It's just, I think there's a short probably. So anyway, so Indra becoming very angry, he called for the Samantaka clouds. These are the clouds that are used at the end. So this is extreme. This is excessive. So he called for all of the maruts, the special winds. He called for the Samantaka clouds, which have so much heavy rain. He sent his own thunderbolt, everything down, making long story short. And he attacked the land of Vrindavan. When he attacked the land of Vrindavan, all the Brijabasis, they all were taking shelter in trees, homes, wherever they could. And what was their number one concern? We're going to be destroyed by Indra. Was that the number one concern? What was the number one concern? Krishna. All of this is happening how to protect Krishna. Krishna seeing the anxiety of their praying for him. He then went to Govardhan and with his left hand, he put his hand out. At that time, what I quoted earlier, Apluta Anyam Giriraj Pakshayar. Giriraj manifested his wings and leapt onto the hand of Krishna. That's why I told that earlier. He was keeping that secret. But now to check the pride of Indra, he wanted to show, oh, you've cut the wings of all of my subjects, all of the other mountains. But now Giriraj manifested his wings, and not like with Pulatsarishi, he showed his wings, and he leapt onto the hand of Krishna, left hand. All of the it says the Vijahara Siddhas, all, they cried out when they saw it. This is in the commentaries, Sanatana Goswami Cyril have commented like this. Then Krishna lifted the hill. Amazing thing was that these scribes in the commentary was just like plucking a mushroom. He put his hand under, and you know, if you put your hand under the stem, and you pick it up flat like this, he picked it up and he held it up, and the mountain was not moving. It wasn't shaking, it wasn't tilting. So he called out to all the Brijabasis, come under Govardhan, take shelter under this Govardhan hill. Just see, because of your service to Govardhan, Govardhan has come to protect you. Therefore, Gurudev told me personally one day, we were asking about the Narasingha prayers. He said the Narasingha prayers are to protect the Sankirtan movement. He said Brijabasis will not pray to Nrsingadev. They will pray to Govardhan for anything that they want.
There you go.
Understand? Nrsingadev is to protect the Sankirtan movement. Because he chastised Chankazi when he broke the Madang, etc. So I'll go to your line, we chant Nrsingadev, or you should protect this movement. But to remove obstacles also, we can pray to Nrsingadev. But for everything, actually those who have proper Brijabasi Sambandha, they will pray for everything to Govardhan. So now Govardhan was lifted up so high, it was penetrating the clouds. So now Indra was shining up, raining down rain, thunderbolts, clouds, wind, everything. And Govardhan was like on vacation. Understand? And then Krishna even sent his own Sudarshan Chakra up because he was beyond the clouds. And the sun was shining. He sent up the Sudarshan Chakra, which dissipated the light of the sun. So it was like his sunglasses, more or less. So in this way, all the Brijabasis, when they came under Govardhan, they were very amazed, however. They didn't see dirt, roots. They didn't see mud. They saw crystal lakes. They saw staircases which were made of jewels. They saw jewel pillars, which is a very important thing in the next part of this. They saw so many wonderful things. And the commentators say, even though there was unlimited Brijabasis, Govardhan made room for every single person. And not only that, but when they came under the hill, Krishna saw that their faces still had a tinge of anxiety. And they thought, how can he hold this hill? And how long can he hold this hill? To completely take their absorption away from the hill, Krishna struck a pose where he put his right hand on his hip like this. That is the deity of Sri Nathji. When he struck that pose, it was so charming, so wonderful, that now all the Brijabasis who were looking at Krishna became stunned and charmed. They lost all need for hunger, for thirst, for sleep, for anything. They were completely mesmerized by that form. So here I want to quote a verse from Radharasa Sutta Nidhi. Because often we see that our deity forms are always manifest with Krishna as the Anukul Dir Lalit Nayak. So the Tribhanga pose of the deity is an Anukul Dir Lalit Nayak Murti. This means a person who's always favorably disposed and completely in the mood of an enchanting lover for his beloved. This is the meaning of Anukul Dir Lalit Nayak. You understand? So this Tribhanga root is the manifestation of that form. So Sri Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur, he quotes, Tanna pratikshana chamatkara chalu lila lavanya mohana mahamaduranga bongi. How did Krishna obtain this form? Radha ananam hi madura anga kalanidam. Because Radhika's face is like a reservoir of beautiful chamatkar and wonderful leelas. So Krishna's always trying to find a way to become close to that beauty. So therefore what he does is he takes various elements of his own body and he tries to position him as close to Radhika as he can. So he takes his heel and puts it near her anchal, means the bottom of her skirt. He takes his hand and he dips it to the side to try to get close to her hair and close to her cheeks. You understand? He takes one hip and moves it out this way so the upper part of his body leans over to try to touch hers. This is all stated in Radharasa Sutta Nidhi. You understand? Jai Shrimati Radharani Ki Jai. So in the same way, he posed in this charming form. So now it's getting late. I want to tell some rahasya of this Govardhan Leela. Actually, this Leela is a chain of Leelas based on the culmination that will become the Ras Leela. In the autumn season, that will be coming in the next year, in Krishna's 8th year, in that Sarit season, Krishna will call for rasa. But why? At the time of the Kaliya Damana Leela, when the young girls were just coming into some maturation, and they saw Krishna dance on the heads of Kaliya, a samskar, a icha, a desire arose in their hearts that I would like to dance with this boy. How charming is he? The gopis kept that mood very deeply hidden. And in Venu Geet, in the 21st chapter of the 10th canto, that mood is completely covered, but it's like, you ever seen a pressure cooker? At the time the pressure cooker is ready and you remove that little cap, what does it do? So now the pressure of the praying that the gopis were kept very deeply hidden started to seep through. So when Krishna blew his flute, not for us, but tending the cows, Iti Venu Ravannajam Savabhuttam Manoharam, they became completely enchanted. But what they did in 20 verses in the Venu Geet was cover the moods that came out of their hearts with what is called Avahita Bhav. What is this Avahita Bhav? They said, listen, don't blame us for being enchanted by this flute. Even the deer are enchanted by this flute. What to speak of the deer? Even the husbands of the deer are enchanted by this flute. Also, the Jamuna is enchanted by this flute. The different rishis have come here sitting on trees as birds are enchanted by this flute. Even the aboriginal girls of our village are enchanted by this flute. And if you give the argument, well, they're just aboriginal girls, they don't have culture, even the wives of the demigods are leaning out of their airplanes, and they're also bewildered. Don't come at me with, I'm enchanted by Krishna's flute. Did I just get excited? Okay. You understand? So, Jai, Haribo, Jai. So from that time, this pressure cooker developed. Then later on, Jai. Later on, Krishna will steal the garments of the gopis, Gopi Vastrahar and Leela. And in this way, the gopis' lajja, or their shyness, in incremental stages is being broken. Because at the time of the Vastrahar and Leela, Krishna told them all to come out of the water, absolutely unclothed. So when they came out, they revealed themselves completely. But still, even with that, in their heart of hearts, they still maintained the shyness of ladies. So they immediately covered themselves afterwards. But they had fully given themselves to Krishna. So Krishna promised them, on a future day, I will call you in order to have ras with you. You understand? Then, during this Govardhan Leela, for 7 days, they had Maha, what is called Kripaka Taksha Vilas. What is the meaning here? Remember I told you about all the jewels, pillars, and staircases and crystal rivers? In those pillars, crystal rivers, and all the jewels that were under Govardhan, the constant Kataksha Vilas of Radhika and Krishna was going on for 7 days. The unique thing about that, the rahasya of that was who was present? Their elders, their husbands, everybody. So now, just imagine, I'm trying to find a way to give an example that'll make sense. If you are having a paramour relationship, and you show up at the same venue with your paramour, and your husband, your father, their parents, and everybody is there, how intense is that? So for 7 days, then Radhika and Krishna were present under Govardhan with the intense exchange. Even if Radhika would look in another direction, the pillar would reflect Krishna. This is why I told this before. So everywhere Krishna tried to avoid, Radhika tried to avoid, everywhere they were only seeing each other. This is Kripaka Taksha Vilas in action. You understand? So now, after that, in the following year, Krishna would then, having built up from Purvara to that point, on one night, Shri Bhadrayanu Vacha, Bhagavan Pita Ratri Savat Utfalik Kamalika, Vikshamnatu Manasai Chakre, Yogamaya Prasvita, he would call for Ras Leela. So the essence of this Govardhan Puja Leela is the culmination of their Purvarag in the intensity of an environment where that praying was almost at the point where sometimes you get a pressure cooker and if things go awry, it blows up. They were at the point where the pressure cooker was going to blow up. Imagine 7 days in the intimate proximity of your beloved. You understand? With all the obstacles that are present right there. So Govardhan Leela's height of sweetness is the wonderful nature in which praying was nourished for those 7 days in that environment, which in the following year would be fully manifest in Shri Krishna's Ras Leela. Shri Govardhan Puja Ki Jai, Anukut Maha Mahotsav Ki Jai, Shri Radhika Prema Ki Jai, Jai Gaura Premanande, Jai Shri Gurudev Ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai, Rupa Guru Bhaga Ki Jai, Sachinan Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Abhishek Ki Jai. Hari Bol. Hari Bol.